I'm Morgan.
And I'm Jay, and this is our tiny house in Lapine, Oregon. So our tiny house is 27 feet long, 8 feet wide. Exterior and the entire shell frame was built by a gentleman in Sutherland, and we brought that up here and finished out the interior. It's totally off the grid as long as you've got a source of water. It can pump it, heat it. We've got all the electricity, wood-fired stove for heat.
I'm gonna go ahead and let Jay give you a tour.
Come on in, y'all. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the tiny house. All 216 square feet, plus the loft. We got our closet right as we walk in, and so this is the complete tiny house, but as we got it, it was just down to the frame studs, no insulation, just the windows and doors. So the build out took roughly 2 years, but that is with the hurdle of a herniated disc in the back, so there was a delay that allowed me some learning time to sort of dive in full throttle. So went with the tongue and groove sort of finish on everything. Big fan of wood, and just wanted the live grain. This post was actually a old fence post that was sort of here when we first moved in, and I just liked it aesthetically, and so put it in the garage for about 5 years to dry out. Also got some nice live edge juniper down here. Just again, fan of that live wood. And put the closet up here by the front, just easy access when you first walk in the door. This is the dwarf stove. I believe this is the 3K version. They come in a few different versions, and they're actually really helpful if you tell them the size of your space, the square footage, the airspace. They'll sort of guide you towards the stove that best fits for your space, and they'll even help you with sort of the chimney setup to an extent. They make it really easy. So we normally have most of our wood outside, just, it's a tiny space. It's at a premium, but we've usually got some wood down here just to have it on demand and dry and ready to go. It's worked incredibly well for us as far as the wood. You do have to cut it a little bit shorter to fit in there, but we've got these heat shields on the front and back, keep everything within the temperature ranges and well within the safety gaps. So leading into the interior of the house, tried to have a big open living space. The wheel well here, we've got some great seating along with the big L bench. As far as adding as much functionality as possible, this entire table is made to slide under the wood stove here and just open up this as a big communal, enjoyable conversation space. Under the bench is where you're gonna find all of the solar batteries, as well as a chunk of storage space. A couple little sneaky spots here and there also for storage. Some super hidden ones that nobody knows about. So sliding the table over to the wall here, it just opens up the whole space, allows for super easy pass through. I've used the desk over here in front of the window, and then, Morgan hanging out, dogs running around, but just makes for a really big open space. From mentioning all the different types of wood, one of the feature pieces is up at the top. Found a good 18-foot piece of wood and cut it to length and burned the whole thing, just kind of wiggling it back and forth through a burn fire. And now we have this wonderful charred black look. Covered it in a clear coat so it doesn't make a mess. And then this wonderful little lantern is a little custom piece that I made that's on a dimmable switch. And at night when just that's going, it's just beautiful. And then at the front door is a sort of big old monkey's fist. So a monkey's fist goes back to the old sailing days, and essentially they'd put a lead weight in the middle of it, and it's a decorative knot on the exterior, and they would take that and huck it up over, and that's how they would kind of get their lines up over the mast and everything. I was taught how to make these as a kid by my mom, and lost her a few years back, and there's just one little homage that I could do for her. Every time we hold that door open, little nod of the cap.
Isn't Jay and Morgan's house the perfect place for a little cozy relaxation? Well, why don't you get cozy with me while we play June's Journey? It's a free to download, fun and intriguing murder mystery game that immerses you in the roaring 20s. Search for objects and clues in glamorous settings. It's so satisfying to tune out the outside world while finding hidden objects. Every time I pop in, there are new storyline twists and turns that keep it feeling fresh. June is one confident and clever citizen detective. Joining her to solve her sister's murder is a surprisingly heartfelt endeavor. In between sleuthing scenes, enjoy customizing your very own garden island. You can even join a club. It's such a great way to connect with others and share ideas, like what June's doing on her winding search for the truth. Download June's Journey today for free by clicking the link in the description below or scanning the QR code on the screen. It's available on PC and Android and iOS mobile devices.
So all the solar battery systems in the bench, everything is run off 12 volt. And then with that, we've got all these great little feature lights. They also have some plugs for charging, but we kind of just leave them as sconces for the most part. But if you need a little reading light, you're ready to go. So under here, we have the heart of the electrical system, 12 volt solar. It's mostly a Renogy based system as far as its components. Of the budget, this was honestly a substantial chunk of the build. And I think for anybody doing off-grid, it's something to take into consideration. While it does give you the independence in the long run, cost-wise in the beginning, it does dent your wallet a little bit more. Probably somewhere in the $5,000 to $5,500, maybe even a little bit more range. And with that, the tariffs are only going to increase prices, so go buying stuff now. Buy it now. We've got the 2,000 watt inverter charger, so we can charge off of a landline, but we can also run and charge our components, run a blender, and pretty much anything to our needs of electricity. You can get larger inverters. We have a 40 amp MPPT charger. That's just sort of the most optimized version, and it works well with the 400 watts of solar on the roof. And then everything monitored by the screen in the kitchen. So as many times as I'd mentioned wanting to save power and just keep it when I don't need it, honestly, the battery has more than enough juice, and this battery at 200 amp hours is plenty for us. Right now it's saying 48 weeks. Morgan and I went as like a actual test, 30 days, only on solar, never plugged in a generator, and ran laptops and everything in between, and never really had any hindrances. And with that, I would say we weren't parked in the best place for solar. So if we had full sun, we probably could have also popped a window AC unit in and been super comfortable and just run it off the solar.
Well, we've been together over 15 years. 5 years we've been in La Pine here. And about 2 years ago is when we decided to buy the tiny house frame.
And get that started as far as the project.
And we've always kind of liked doing projects together, I think.
That's the theme.
Yeah.
That's the general theme of life, yeah.
Yeah. I'm not always super helpful with projects. I'm more of the idea person, right?
The general contractor, she gives the thumbs up.
Yeah.
We're adventurers, we like to build stuff and get outside, so I think that's why the general theme of having this as an off-grid build sort of was most attractive to us. I think it made the viability of just putting it anywhere seem really attractive. We've got a good chunk of land out here, and then we also have another lot sort of down the street from us that just has incredible river access, but you can't build there. So anything on wheels is sort of a more viable option there. So that Sort of was the first door we opened into the tiny house world. Fun place to put friends and family, cool place to cook out of while we're hanging out by the river. And then it also led into some income revenue as well, just being able to rent out our big house, as we call
Our
it,
main house,
on Airbnb. And then from there we could crash in here.
So we lived in here for
30
summer.
plus days?
Yeah. It was a great summer, honestly. Having semi-lived in a van for a little bit, the transition wasn't too bad. Honestly, this is way more square footage than the van. So, and that wasn't too bad. I was surprised at how quiet it was. I thought like it was gonna be noisier having two people in here and like, oh, we're not gonna have any like separation or space, but it was really quite easy and nice. It did help I left to go to work during the day, but made this kind of like our summer clubhouse. And like we paddleboarded, you know, from the river out of here, mountain biked.
We were able to do everything we wanted to do. It's just a smaller square footprint. Yeah. As we work our way back through the tiny house, we have some of my wife's wonderful art from Mountain Fiber Designs. She loves to feature it here and there. We've got some plant hangers and the macrame, and it just sort of fits with our Western off-the-grid motif. Coming into our kitchen here, we've got some more live edge. I've put some nice little puck lights under here just for, you know, over the kitchen sink. The sink here was something we were quite excited about. It's one of those super fancy ones that honestly is probably a little bit nicer than the one in our house. And it's just something that we grew to appreciate. The functionality of having additional counter space as well as draining, whether it's for cleaning vegetables or even drying dishes, it just added to the utility for us. In comparison to quite a few of the other tiny houses, we wanted to make sure that we had a lot of counter space and ease of use. So we've got it's galore. It's everywhere. When we need to, we pull out either a little butane stove or one of those little electric plug-in stoves. Usually cook right around here. If it gets hot, crack open the window. But we do have an exhaust vent over this way too, so that's worked pretty well for us. So in the kitchen for storage, we've got all these beautiful cabinets. I was lucky enough to find them at our Restore, still flat packed brand new, but at a heavily discounted rate. So everybody go out there, check your Restores and other resources. All soft close, really nice stuff, tons of storage that really allowed us to fit everything for our needs as far as cooking and pantry. On this side, we've got our Dometic CFX3 75 dual zone. Works absolutely fantastic. I can't endorse these enough. We have one in our van also, and it's been going for 5 years down bumpy trails, and so this one's been sitting pretty and doing great. This runs off of 12-volt electricity. Hyper efficient in my opinion, and barely makes a dent. It turns on and off as needed. And even beyond that, the compressor, the little fan that goes at night, hardly hear it, doesn't really bother us at all. I left this space as something that can be removed. This table pops out, and the next person, I believe they may be putting in a full-size fridge. So that's something that I left in the modularity of the build. This can come out and they got a full-size fridge freezer situation. They could even do a little under deal that runs off of propane, but for me, 12 volt and Dometic. Back here, we've got the bathroom. Went with a nice, easily vented pocket door. Coming into the bathroom, again, I hit my local Restore. This was a complete unit. It's got the nice soft closed drawers, beautiful fixtures, this and that, and I think for like 70 bucks filled the need, where if I think I tried to do this, it'd be a few hundred at least. Some nice finishes, and I tried to go with black hardware for the most part. This sneaky little spot here is where you control the water for the outdoor shower that's on the tongue of the trailer. And I just put it in here and had it insulated so that in the wintertime when we dry everything out, don't have to worry about it. On this side, we've got sort of the wet bath, I guess is a good way to put it. Went with the largest shower pan that I could. I want to say the shower pan is around 40 to 42 inches to fit this space. And then went for a full height toilet with a foot flush, that kind of standard for an RV. We could have gone a number of routes with the toilets, you know, composting, cassette. For us, we in the van have done composting and we've done cassettes. And in this instance, just wanted to be able to flush it away and not think about it. So that's kind of where that came from. We hook up a 36-gallon tank, take that and we can dump it in our septic as needed. So the shower is as basic as I could make it. There's some nice finishes for sure. We got an exhaust fan that's built in here, just get that moisture out. But it's kind of convenient having the toilet as a seat. You know, it's fully allowed to be wet, so might as well. I'm sure Morgan, for shaving her legs, enjoyed it. And the last spot that we haven't yet discovered is the loft. Really comfortable space, again, finished in the tongue and groove. Some puck lights, fully dimmable, and then towards the back side, we've got some nice reading lamps where we can also plug in and charge in the evenings. Currently, there is a queen size bed up there, but from my measuring, you can just squeeze a king if you really wanted to go for it. So the ladder, again, wood coming from Levi's sawmill here in La Pine. We wanted something that was easy for us to not only ascend, but descend. And then we are some of those people that have our dog in the bed. So to have something that's a little bit more like stairs than a ladder made more sense for us. Our little river guy, he can crawl right up this. He can't get down, but he can go up, and that's what counts. For myself, I've always been a very hands-on, sort of engineering, mechanically inclined person. I've worked construction, but I've never gone to this extent and this detail, and you know, I've done framing and this and that, but to go through every step of the process was definitely something to wrap my head around. And at times it was, you know, you just gotta take one baby bite at a time and not think too far ahead of yourself and just kind of get done what's in front of you. And I hand hammered every single nail on the tongue and groove, which some people would say is probably a little bit crazy, but
maniacal.
That's what happened. And, you know, at one point I did herniate a disc in my back, sort of in the middle, early construction. That definitely hindered the development, but it also gave me a chance to just solely focus on developing the electrical plan and the plumbing plan. So then I was able to do a lot of YouTube University, get my head fully wrapped around that aspect. So as much as it did slow down the physical progress of the build, it did allow me to go into that next stage just like ready to go. A speed bump that I think just accelerated things in the long run. And then seeing the final product, I couldn't be happier. So the shell we bought from a gentleman down in Sutherland, Oregon, and he built out the whole exterior, you know, dried it in, windows, doors. We ended up paying $20K for the shell. From there, estimated build cost beyond that, I put at about 20 to 22. So all in on the build, it's probably about 40 to 45 maybe. And you know, there's all those little trips to Ace Hardware we don't really think about that do add up.
In your time, but
yeah.
What's that valued at?
No, but also I see the value in the learning experience. This tiny house, we found a new home for it. It's headed to Olympia, Washington to be on a farmstead. The woman who purchased it has a kid that she wants to travel with, but the farm has a lot of responsibilities. So there's a gentleman that'll be living in this and taking care of things on the farm when she's out and away. And a part of that deal was a 1965 Airstream Caravelle, all 17 feet of it. and currently ripped that down to the frame, and that's next project in the books.
Project number 2.
Yeah.
I don't know how Jay thought about that in the listing, but he's like, I'll just put will partial trade for a certain Airstream, you know, and I don't know how it just perfectly matched up. This woman had an Airstream, had the right amount of funds, and matched it up. Meant to be.
I've always wanted to do an Airstream, and serendipitously just worked out.
Tiny houses would be great for flexible housing. I think just having the ability to have a place for your family to stay that's maybe not in your house, or for additional income. I mean, there is a housing shortage, like why not make it available to people that need it and people that have the land to offer that, and obviously the resources. This isn't affecting the environment in any way, shape, or form. We have sewer, septic, everything, or you can be completely off-grid. So I think that flexibility in itself is huge. They just offer a lot of options for people and fill, I think, a lot of needs, whether it be additional income or a roof over your head. Unfortunately, not every county, state, what have you, allows for that flexibility. So hopefully in the future we'll have more open-mindedness in that sense and more tiny houses in the community, because I think it definitely would benefit from it. So I guess one of the ways that we realized we couldn't utilize the tiny house as much as we wanted to.
Or we're limited in how much we
can
could
do
use it.
with the county. South Deschutes County requires you to have 5 acres of land to short-term rent or long-term rent a second dwelling or an ADU. I mean, we have 3 acres, it's plenty of space, but we don't qualify. You've now limited your pool of people at that point who can provide housing to a very large pool of people that need it, because if you only are limiting it to 5 acres, that's probably only maybe 10% of properties in South County. I mean, we're on 3 acres and it's too many acres, really. I mean, it's not all usable.
It's a lot to take care of.
It's a lot to take care of, but it's also, wouldn't it be nice if it was all usable land and going towards a function of sorts?
For anybody who is thinking about building a tiny house or living in one, like, don't be afraid of the learning curve. We all are, willing and able to learn. We can do it. Even the person who takes on this will, have to learn about solar and how to operate it and this and that. And I think even just a lot of the misconceptions about, not having enough space, or like refrigeration or a hot shower, or all these different things, like, it's very comfortable as long as you're comfortable with the idea of it. And I think for a lot of people, that's probably the biggest hurdle.
Thanks for stopping by Tiny House Expedition. I'm Alexis.
And I'm Christian, and this is our DIY tiny house on our homestead in Oregon.
Looking for more tiny inspiration? Watch these videos. But if you're looking for something specific, visit our channel homepage to browse tiny homes by category.
And don't forget to subscribe.
Hope to see you soon. Download June's Journey today for free by clicking the link in the description below or scanning the QR code on the screen. It's available on PC and Android and iOS mobile devices.